Thank you very much. First of all, let me introduce myself. I am Dr. Mahrang Baloch from Pakistan's southwestern Baluchistan province. I am very delighted and honored to be around some courageous and diverse voices today. I am very thankful to PEN Norway, World Expression Forum, and Totoya Island for bringing together such a diverse group of young activists standing against powerful forces. We will see each other more in Lillehammer, so I will keep my comments brief. I lead a peaceful rights movement from the platform Baloch Solidarity Committee in Baluchistan, from a corner of the world that remains unknown to the outside world. The area I belong to has been reeling from violence and insurgencies for the last 7 decades. During these last 2 decades, in the name of counter-insurgency, operations and peace, a large number of young men, mostly students, engineers, doctors, political activists and journalists have been forcibly disappeared by Pakistani security agencies. I expect many of you don't know what enforced disappearance is. Enforced disappearance is when your own government and the security agencies abduct political activists and the vocal voices and don't present them in any courts. They have been detained in the detention centers, tortured, and their family didn't know about their whereabouts, not for days but for years, even though there are cases who have been enforcedly disappeared for decades. And the family didn't know that their beloved ones are alive or dead. So that's mean definition of enforced disappearances. And it's been illegal in, you can say, in any state. And in UN Human Rights Forum, it's been illegal. But still till today, it's being practiced by the fascist states, by the oppressor states like Pakistan. During these last 2 decades, in the name of counter-insurgency, operations and peace, many of our assets have been forcibly disappeared, and then their mutilated bodies were found in Baluchistan. They were being killed in detention centers. And so that's a form of extrajudicial killing that our government has been doing. Unfortunately, the exact number of disappeared is unknown, as the state has not allowed international groups such as the United Nations or Amnesty International to investigate the nature of this human tragedy. When local activists, right groups tried to document the number or raise their voices, they themselves were disappeared. It is very difficult to tell these stories of victims of forced disappearances, but you have to search and research. And I request you all to have search and research what is happening in Baluchistan, a Pakistani province, because what they have done, I see that they have disconnected us, those who believe in human rights, those who believe in humanity, with their power and with the use of the technology. They have disconnected all those good people who want peace for all of the humanity. I have been campaigning against enforced disappearances for more than 10 years, starting when I was a teenager, because I myself am a victim. My own father was disappeared by agents of Pakistani state in 2009. He was killed and his bullet-riddled body was found in 2011. When I was at 10th standard, and that was the day when my result was announced. And that day I found the body of my father. My younger brother was disappeared when I was doing my graduation in medicine in 2017. I campaigned and launched rallies for him in Baluchistan. After 3 months, he was released, but my case is not exceptional. There are worse cases than this in Baluchistan, even though there are victims and there are families where no one is left to tell their stories. And even though there are villages who have been destroyed and no one is here to tell their stories, that was a village where people could live peacefully. There are hundreds of young women like me today. I at least know that I am an orphan and my mother is a widow, but there are hundreds of children, teenagers, and young people whose fathers, uncles, or brothers have been missing for weeks, months, and in some of the worst cases, years, and they do not know whether they are alive or not. Together with these youngsters, the majority of whom are women, I have been campaigning and rallying, pressing the Pakistan Supreme Court's Parliament and security forces to release those who have been disappeared, or at least present them before a court if they have committed any crime. But Pakistani authorities, instead of addressing our issues, it's very painful that they have resorted to violence. I marched more than 1,600 kilometers in December for over a month and arrived in Islamabad, the capital city of Pakistan, on a cold evening with children and women. We were beaten, charged, humiliated, and tortured by police. The controlled media was used to run a malicious campaign against us. On social media, we were abused and trolled by state-backed accounts. Journalists were intimidated and stopped from giving us media coverage. Civil society was pressurized too. Powerful intelligence agencies of Pakistan forced the people of not to respond to our peaceful movement. Media ignored us through our protest camp, was sent just outside the National Press Club of Islamabad, and there was no any coverage of this peaceful movement. We have been set there for more than 1 month. And also I can see that there is still hope, and we are hopeful because those who are behind this violence and those who are using violence, they are less in number. Maybe they have the power of the power to rule us, but those who believe in humanity, who believe in peace, we are large in number, and we live in a world which has been created